We've all been there, right? Faced with an impossible choice. Two bad options where it feels like no matter what you do, you lose. Well, today, we're going to deconstruct that exact trap. We're going to break down how you can forge a third path, even when it seems like one doesn't exist, and we'll do it all through the lens of one incredibly high-stakes decision.
And this is where it all kicks off. Not with a wide array of possibilities, but with a brutal, simple ultimatum. You either become a weapon for a powerful, shadowy council, or you're going to be publicly executed. Now, this is a classic false choice, right? It's designed to make you feel powerless, but it's also the very thing that sparks a brilliant strategic pivot.
All right, so let's really get into this impossible choice. Our hero, Elara, is completely trapped. A powerful figure, Valerius, has laid out the terms, and they seem absolute, non-negotiable. This is the very definition of a false dilemma.
And here, you can see the illusion of choice just laid bare. Option 1, become a tool. Sure, it's a gilded cage, but it's still a cage, and it ultimately leads to what's called a delayed execution. The other option, become a corpse, an immediate, public, and very final death. So, what's the real choice here? It's not between life and death. It's between death now or death a bit later. That's not a choice. That's a trap.
So when you're caught in a trap like that, what's the first move? It's not to pick a side. No, the first, most critical step is to completely reject the premise of the problem itself. Instead of choosing between two bad doors, you start looking for a crack in the wall.
And this, right here, this isn't just wishful thinking. This is a fundamental strategic belief. It's the conviction that no system, no trap is ever perfect. There is always a vulnerability, a blind spot. The key isn't about finding some big, obvious exit sign. It's about believing a hidden crack exists in the first place, and then having the discipline to actually find it.
Which brings us to the real tactical question, doesn't it? How do you find that crack? Well, you don't look for a grand escape plan. You look for the smallest imperfection. A person, a process, maybe a piece of information that just doesn't quite line up with the official story. You look for the unexpected.
And that search, that hunt for the tiny flaw, well, that leads us right to the turning point of the whole story, a guard's gamble. This is where the abstract idea of looking for a crack meets a real, tangible, and very risky opportunity.
See, the big break doesn't come from some powerful hero riding in to save the day. No way. It shows up in the most mundane, overlooked way possible. A jailer, Sergeant Korik, just delivering a meal. He's not some idealist. He's a practical guy. But he's the only one who's shown even a tiny flicker of humanity. The crack in the wall. It's a person. And sometimes the smallest point of leverage can move the biggest weight.
So how does she turn him? I mean, this is just a masterclass in persuasion. She doesn't beg, she doesn't plead, she strategizes. She points out the council's big weakness. They're hiding something. Then she appeals directly to his sense of duty as a city watchman. She makes it personal, asking what he'll do when another body turns up in his part of the city. And finally, she reveals the victim wasn't just anybody, a fact he can check. She's not asking him to rescue her, she's giving him a reason to do his real job.
And Korik's response? Oh, it's brilliant. It's pure tradecraft. He knows he's being magically monitored by a listening device. So what does he do? First, he creates a totally believable distraction, complaining about the food. Then, the genius move, the acoustic cover. He taps his spoon hard against the bowl, creating a loud clang, a burst of white noise that jams the surveillance. In that split second of sound, he whispers the vital info, and then, right back to normal. It's a perfect low-tech solution to a high-tech problem.
Okay, so the crack has been found. It's been exploited. A message has been passed. But we're not done yet, not even close. That's not the end of the game. It's the start of the next phase. Now it's time to assemble the new assets you've just acquired into an actual plan.
And this line, this just perfectly nails what a real opportunity looks like, you know? Sergeant Korik didn't hand her a key. He didn't give her a weapon. He gave her a thread. Just a starting point. It's a fragile little lead that could snap at any moment. The rest of the work? Pulling that thread until the whole corrupt system unravels. That's all on her.
So from that one super risky split-second conversation, look at what she's got now. These are real, tangible assets. A name, Kaelin, that's her first real clue. A potential ally, his sister Lyra. A location, the Grand Archives. And a hidden tool, a focus stone, which is also this powerful symbol that maybe, just maybe, she's not completely alone in this. These aren't a solution yet,
but they're the building blocks for a whole new plan.
And here we are, the final act. This is where it all comes together. The mindset, that unexpected opportunity, the new tools in her toolbox. This is the moment she stops reacting to their trap and starts setting her own. This is where she forges the third path.
And this is the third path. It's not a compromise between being a tool and being a corpse. No, it's a complete subversion of the whole setup. She accepts the deal, but only on the surface. She's going to use their resources, but play by her own rules. She agrees to be their hound, sure, but she's not going to hunt their targets. She's going to hunt for the real killer, and in doing so, hunt for her own freedom. She turns their own weapon right back on them.
And it all boils down to these two simple words. I'm in. When she says this to Valerius, he hears surrender. He hears a tool finally accepting its purpose. But we know better, don't we? We know what this really means. It's a declaration of war, hidden inside a statement of compliance. The game is on.
You know, when you really think about it, this whole story is a masterclass in strategic jujitsu. It basically suggests that when the rules of the game are designed for you to lose, you don't win by playing harder, you win by creating a new, hidden set of rules and playing a different game entirely. So that leaves us with a question to chew on. When you're trapped by the rules, is the only winning move to invent your own?